Well, after 6 months off, the Atlantic hurricane season is officially back. As we move into early June, the Atlantic is starting to show some signs of increasing tropical activity. But for now, no immediate threats are being detected, which is good news. However, we are monitoring it very, very carefully because, of course, this is the start of what is going to be perhaps a very active next 6 months. The Colorado State University, as well as NOAA, are predicting that there's the potential we could have a slightly above average hurricane season. So every day counts, every month counts, of course. At least right now, in the next 7 days, thankfully, no tropical development is likely. So as we're looking across the Atlantic Basin, yes, you do see areas of showers and thunderstorms, but nothing of concern as of right now. With that being said, though, and I just want to pause and mention that, of course, there are always exceptions. And what we are watching for is the potential for perhaps a weak tropical depression to form within the next 5 days, somewhere right along the southeast coast. So the impacts, what could we expect to have happen? Well, we know that there's going to be periods of rain that will likely move inland by about midweek. So regardless of development, there's going to be moisture around. Where? Well, that's the key question mark here. North Florida and into the Carolinas, those are the areas that we're thinking that need to be monitoring the most closely for the potential of any sort of tropical development. The reason being is that we've got this front that is just stalling over Florida. And whenever we have a front that stalls over especially the Gulf Coast region and just off the southeast coast, we have to watch very carefully for just small areas of spin right along that front. And when that spin takes place, that's when we could see, especially if the overall parameters are in place, the overall ingredients needed for a tropical system to develop, something could develop. Now, the greater area of spin is likely by about midweek. So this is Thursday. Pausing this, we're thinking most likely in terms of our computer models. And mind you, there's numerous forecast models that we take into account. But at least as of right now, looking more likely that this area of low pressure could form just off the coast of Georgia and just off the coast of South Carolina. So, of course, there's that trough over the southeast, that area of low pressure that could be forming. One of the kind of actual good things about this trough, though, is that it is a rather sharp trough, and that would mean that it would limit the tropical development. So there's going to be hostile upper level winds. There's also going to be abundant dry air in place, which are two of the inhibiting factors for a tropical system to be able to develop and also be able to sustain itself. With all that being said, though, again, when you're looking at our overall scale at the top of your screen from left to right, when we see areas of purple and, of course, starting to see shades of blue, that's indications that, yes, we could, in fact, have a tropical depression develop in the next 7 days. And notice it stretches anywhere from really the North Florida coastline all the way up into the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and even in just off the coast of Virginia, so Virginia Beach, those areas. Timing this out, though, and again, I was mentioning all of the forecast models. This is our exclusive Fox model. This indicates that there's the potential, notice by about Tuesday into Wednesday, we're dealing with showers and thunderstorms that are increasing. By Wednesday afternoon and evening, we start to see some indications of some spin, and that would be just off the coast of Georgia as it works its way right along the coastline and further to the northeast. That would be bringing in rounds of heavy rain, some gusty wind, and maybe even a rip current risk, especially for those that are hoping to maybe catch some beach time this week. Elsewhere, outside of the southeast region, we are looking at the rest of the basin, and there are two tropical waves that we're monitoring. One just off the coast of Africa just recently emerged, but it's not of concern, and then also in the Caribbean Sea. Neither of those are concerning for a handful of reasons, one of which is the fact that our sea surface temperatures are just a little bit too cool for any development. And also we've got thick plumes of Saharan dust that are helping to squelch any sort of tropical activity that would try to form.